Okay. All right, good. We're recording. Okay. So what I'm going to do with this 4-week training is each week we'll cover a different topic. The last 3 weeks, I should say the next 3 weeks, I guess, will come from that book, GoPro, that I asked you guys to order. So next Wednesday, we will start with a few chapters from that, and I'll tell you which chapters to read for that. But this week, and this is the first week, I like to cover Facebook and social media. And then also just a brief little section on how to reach out and follow up with potential people. And the reason I like to cover that first is because I know that most of us, that's how we do our business, is through social media. And I think it's a really good starting place and a place to get you jumped off. And did I just click out of it? No. Okay. Sorry. I thought I messed up on my computer. Anyways, okay. So part one would be social media, and I'm going to go through a lot of stuff here. And I'm sorry if I know I talk very fast, but I'm sorry if I overwhelm you guys at all. But this is kind of my passion. Let me give you a brief history. So when I started Plexus, I started because 1, I wanted to get healthy, and 2, I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom with my girls. So I jumped in with both feet right off the bat and started working the business hard. But I had absolutely no idea what I was doing because even my upline, she was promoting very quickly, Tiffany was, but she didn't really much know what she was doing either. We were both just kind of lost. Neither one of us had ever done network marketing before or, direct sales or any of that sort of thing, and had no experience. And so we were kind of lost. So I think I burned a lot of bridges early on. And I was lucky that, some of my good friends still listened to me, like Kaylee. Kaylee's been with me just about from the start. But I think I scared a lot of people off, I'm just being honest. And so I really decided and GoPro, this book, which you guys are going to absolutely love, was one of the things that led me to realize that I needed to train myself, and that network marketing is no different than any other field, in that in order to become a professional and to be successful, that we need a little bit of knowledge, right? I mean, you couldn't be a teacher without going to school. You couldn't, practice medicine without going to school. Like this, you teach yourself to become skilled or to become a professional. And I think that in order to really make the big bucks in an industry like ours, we still need to learn. Now, is it like going to college for, all these years and spending all this money? No, of course not. It's much easier and simpler than that. But I think we still need to give it a little time and give it some investment and invest in ourselves in order to see, a lot of success. So that's kind of a quick background on why I'm kind of passionate about this. So I'm just going to jump right in. Facebook and social media. Okay, so the biggest thing that's our goal with using Facebook or any type of social media, whether it's Facebook or Instagram, which, Farron, I saw that you're on Instagram. Go girl. Congrats.
Well, I had to change I had my own Instagram.
Oh, did you?
Vulgar, my name. So I had to make a new one that was Plexus appropriate.
One of the things I'm actually going to hit on. So that's really good. You already know. You're ahead of the game a little bit. Okay, so one of the most important things, I'll skip right to that since Farron kind of segued us into that. But one of the most important things about your social media is to make sure it's positive, that it's something that you wouldn't want a boss not to see. If it's something that you wouldn't want your boss to see or you wouldn't want your parents to see, it's probably not something you want your potentials to see. So be yourself. I mean, if you're funny or you crack jokes or you be that person, don't change that about yourself. Obviously, we want to be professional too, because we want to attract professional people to us. That's our goal, especially in building a team. So obviously, if all you're worried about is just selling the product and getting some customers, that's fine. But if you really want to build a team and you want to lead a team, it's important to kind of already start kind of transitioning yourself into that leader role, if that makes sense. And so I think that's, kind of what you said is smart. Obviously there are so many things on my page that I wouldn't want anybody now to even see. I've never gone back and deleted them or anything though. So, I guess they're still there. But I think that it was smart of you to do that. And it's good to keep that in mind. So our main goal with social media is to create a following. So whether that's, trying to take the existing friends that you have and make yourself more influential with them, or create a brand new following, either way, the same rules sort of apply. But I always suggest to be constantly adding to your network and adding new friends. And so I try to go through every single day on Facebook and look through those suggested friends and add some new friends that I may not. Maybe it's people that I went to school with that I just haven't talked to in a while, or maybe it's people that are friends of my closest friends and family, so I kind of know who they are. And then now, guys, I've got to the point where if we have a lot of mutual friends, I add them. And you used to be surprised, pretty much everyone accepts. So I think that I never realized, I always thought of Facebook as like just something that you have for people that you really know. But I think most people just view it as a networking tool. And that's kind of what it's become for me too. And I really suggest that because I actually have gotten a few team members that were random people that I've added. So obviously it's still possible to prospect those people that may just be someone you added to your network, kind of randomly. Another thing you can do to create a following is to be sure that you're liking your friends, non-Plexus friends posts still, commenting on their stuff a lot, messaging with them, really being an engaging friend. And so all of this is to say we should be these type of friends anyway. So I'm definitely not encouraging anyone to be fake. That's not what I'm saying. But we are in the relationship marketing field, and we have to treat it as such. We have to remember that we are building relationships with people and that people want to buy into you before they even buy into the product. So we have to be sure that we are, attracting people in a way by being a good friend and building relationships and just, caring about others. And especially because of our particular field. I mean, it's one thing if you're selling nail polish, I guess, but for us, like, we really need to care about our potentials. We need to care about their success. We need to care about their health. There's never a time that, one of my team members adds me to a 3-way message that I don't really want to know what the person I'm talking to needs or what they're looking for or what their health is like. I really want to know those things. It's not just like, let's just get you the sale as quick as we can. We really need to care about that. That comes across as genuine, and it makes a huge difference. It really makes a huge difference. So being sure that we're developing relationships. And then one of my favorite things that I've recently learned, and I'm trying to do more of this, is to give valuable information to your following that doesn't have to be Plexus related. So, for example, if you are really passionate about, gut health, or if let's say you have diabetes, for example, and you're passionate about that, rather than just saying like Slim can help your diabetes, you need to pink drink, whatever, constantly saying things about Plexus, you can also just talk about diabetes, talk about your struggle, talk about good dietary changes or other types of supplements you've heard, that are helpful, or essential oils or whatever. It's just giving valuable information is very engaging to people, and especially when you can kind of learn to target your audience. So if you know that your audience is a lot of stay-at-home moms, for example, if you know that your audience is a lot of stay-at-home moms, then giving information that's valuable about, play dates or, how to keep your sanity or funny things even, that they can relate to, all those types of things are going to draw people to you, and that's what's going to end up making where you can recruit them. It's just being someone that's influential and someone that, like I said, draws people to you. Okay, so let's see. Oh, and a great way too is just along with the adding friends thing is, I don't know if you guys know this, but if you go into your own profile and you click on I don't know if this works on your phone too or just from the laptop, but I know it works from the laptop. If you go into your friend list from your own profile, at the top it'll have like little headings, and I think some of them are even like how you know the person or different things you have in common. But one of them too is recently added. So you can go back through that list and start trying to really engage with those people and get to know them, maybe private message them and those sorts of things. It gives you a list of who you've recently added that you can build relationships with. So I think that's a good way to, keep building more and more relationships. And I've kind of skipped over a main thing here that hopefully you guys have already heard from your uplines and but everyone should be making a Frank's list. And if you don't know what a Frank's list is, then let me know. But you should be making a Frank's list, and that's friends, relatives, acquaintances, neighbors, kids connections, and then service organizations. So like your church or whatever, if you serve in some way. Those are going to make your list. So your list is your people that you think Plexus could benefit or that need this business or that would just be rock stars at this business or whatever. And you need to have a list. And that's a great way to add to your list consistently, because we always need to be adding to our list. Otherwise, we'll run out of leads, right? We need to be adding to our list all the time. And so one of the best ways to do that is to go look at your recently added friends and just add them in. That doesn't mean you're talking about Plexus right that minute. It doesn't mean that it'll even be within the next month necessarily. Just building a relationship with them. And then eventually, hopefully, that Plexus part of it will come up. Okay, so posting. These are my biggest tips for posting on Facebook. Be consistent, because people do not see your posts every day. You may feel like you are blowing them up and they're getting spammed, but I promise you they're not seeing it. I still have people to this day. I've been with Plexus since January, and I still have people to this day that I've messaged and said, hey, have you seen me post about Plexus? Are you interested? And they're like, what is Plexus? If I post as much as I do about it and they don't know, clearly you're not in everybody's newsfeed and everybody's not seeing everything you post. Now, if it's somebody that you've had a lot of connection with, like your husband or your mom, they're going to see everything you're posting, because that's just how the Facebook algorithm works. So, of course, you're going to be popping up in their newsfeed constantly. So if your husband comes to you or your boyfriend or whatever and says, oh my gosh, you're posting so much about Plexus, you can remind him, well, you're only seeing all of this because you're a close connection of mine, and Facebook figures that out. That doesn't mean everybody else is, you know. So I know that's happened before, you know, and it can be discouraging when someone's like, oh my gosh, you're posting so much. But just remember, if we're not consistent, everyone won't see what we're saying, and everyone won't even know. That's the first reason. The other reason to be consistent is because, let's be honest, we all have seen those friends who've joined, you know, one of the other companies or even Plexus, and they've posted and then they haven't for a month, and then they posted and then they haven't for a month. And we pretty much think they're just not consistent, right? So we need to be sure that we're being consistent because whether we realize it or not, our friends are watching. And you may have somebody who's just on the fence of it, and if you drop off the map all of a sudden, to them, they're like, forget it. Clearly this is just not working, and it's not something that I want to be involved with, if that makes sense. So it's really important to be very consistent with your posting. The best things you can post are really personal things. That's what people want to see. They love you and care about you, and they knew you and wanted to be your friend long before Plexus. So it doesn't need to just be like graphics, like look at this, look what Plexus does, the Triflex gut health. Like, that stuff's great, and we're educating our audience. So I'm not being negative about that by any means. But I think it needs to be a lot of personal stuff too. So if you can post a picture of yourself with your kids and say, I can't believe I had the energy to go to the zoo after I was up all night, that is way more effective than Plexus Edge gives you energy in a graphic, if that makes sense. It really is. It just draws more people to you. So the more personal you can make your post, the better. Be sure that you are evenly dividing your post between Plexus stuff and things that are completely not Plexus related. Because that's the quickest way to lose friends or get blocked, is if you're only posting Plexus stuff and nothing else. So for me, before I joined, I was not all that active on social media. I mean, the only things I really shared, some stuff that would probably annoy people, which I've tried to stop, and a lot of stuff about my kids. But I didn't post every day by any means, maybe not even every week. So I was kind of a sporadic poster, but because I wanted to be consistent with Plexus, I had to learn to be consistent with my personal life. And so I'm with you guys on that if that's the case for you. But if we only start saying, okay, I'm going to post Plexus every day, and we put nothing else in there, then people are like, forget it. My nephew called my sister when I first joined and said, I think Jenny got hacked because I made this mistake. And I was just posting Plexus, and nothing about my own life. So I try to really be diligent about that. And there will be some days that go by where, especially you guys as my tribe and my closest friends will probably notice this, that some days will go by where I'll post nothing personal, but I'll still be posting Plexus. And those are the times where things are crazy in my house, or things are going on with my kids, or we're just having a rough time. And so I don't post anything about my family. And it's just like, but I try to get back into the swing of that, like post about the kids too, post about my life, about my husband, whatever, things that are not just Plexus. So we all need to try to really be diligent about that. Another good thing to do is rotate what you're posting about. So if you do find some things that you think are really cool about what our products do or what's in them, or if you find some awesome testimonies, that's great, but just don't do all of those in a row. So like kind of rotate between posting about the products, something really personal, maybe a testimony of someone else's that you've seen, but just kind of rotate that content, and it makes it more engaging for people too. All right, so here's some examples. If you want to talk about the product, post a selfie and what it's done for you. Even better than that, this is something that's way out of my comfort zone, but I'm really trying to push myself to do it, which is videos. Videos get way more views than a picture does. People can scroll past a picture, but they will not scroll past a video. And you'd be surprised how many views, especially live. Live videos are all the thing right now. So a video is even better. If you can do a quick video and, let's say it's when I keep talking about kids, but let's say it's when you're at the park and you're with your kids and you're running around playing with them, and you do a quick video of them playing, and you're just like, man, talking about what Plexus has done and how you can't believe how much more energy you have, or whatever it is. Or if it's, like Amber, she could be like, me and my husband sat up to 3 a.m. watching the election results, but he had to go to sleep and I didn't. You know what I'm saying? Things like that are really what gets people's attention more. If you want to talk about the business, an example of what you can do is talk about how it's changing your life, even the small things. I have to tell y'all that when I first started, there was a girl, I'm not sure she's still working with business or not. I'm not going to say her name just in case. But anyway, there was a girl I saw that was talking about It's Not My Sponsor. And she was talking about Plexus, and she was saying, oh my gosh, I'm so excited, Plexus payday, went and got my hair done. And you would think that's something like most people wouldn't care about, but you would be surprised how many women aren't doing things for themselves because it's just not in the budget. That is a lot of people. Like, I'm that way. I mean, we tend to put our needs last. So don't think I have to be like, I paid my mortgage this month or I'm retiring from my job. It doesn't. The small stuff really gets people's attention. So being candid about what it's doing for you, or if you've been with Plexus 6 months and you go on a vacation, say, hey, my Plexus income has helped us so much. I believe we're able to take our kids to the beach or whatever it is. Okay. And then whenever you post a testimony, be sure you always say my friend or my Plexus friend if it's not someone you know directly. We're all friends now, right? I'm sure you guys have all noticed already that Plexus is like one big happy family. So be sure that you put that because it kind of makes it more directly relatable rather than it just being like, hey, this lady that I heard about, if you say it's my friend, it just makes it more relatable. And then if you can do giveaways if you want to give away samples or something, but just know that the only thing that we cannot do that Plexus asks that we not do is give things away as an incentive to join. So here's what you could say would be like, hey, I'm giving away some free samples. I want everyone to feel as good as I do. Comment below or message me and I'll send you a sample. What you cannot do is, hey, join my team this weekend and I'll send you blank. Or the next person to be my customer gets this. They really nipped it in the bud and they're watching now. They used to not care about that. When Kaylee and I first joined, you could do that, but you can't anymore. Yeah. So they want that to stop. Their reasoning is nice, I guess. They're trying to keep it fair, and they said that everyone can't afford to be giving things away in order to ask for people to join. So they're trying to keep it fair. You can still offer things in a private message. So you can still message your potentials and say, hey, I'm doing a giveaway this weekend, next person to join. You just can't post it publicly. So that's kind of how that works. So you can give things away as if you're just giving it away, but you cannot give it away as an incentive to join or purchase. Okay. So let me see here. My kids are getting loud, so I can't hear you guys. Let's go. All right. We talked about Facebook Live and videos. Oh, another really good thing, too, that you guys can do to create more of an influence and engage your network is what we call a call to action post. And I try to do these at least like once a week. And it doesn't have to be about Plexus. It's just random. So, like, if you're going to go on a date, you would post like, hey, going on a date this weekend, what's your favorite restaurant? Or whatever. And it gets people to comment. People want to talk about themselves all day long. So they will comment and you'll get tons of comments. And what happens is when all those people comment on your post, that tells Facebook, okay, these people really are friends, like they engage with one another, and they'll start putting more of your stuff in their newsfeed. So whoever the powers that be or whoever has figured out these algorithms in Facebook and figured out that the more contact you have with someone, the more likely it is that you're going to be in their newsfeed. Okay. And it's the same way with private messaging too. The more you private message with someone, the more you're going to be in their newsfeed too. So it's more likely they're going to see your post and you guys are going to build a relationship if you use things like that. These are just tools, different ways that you can kind of build your influence and grow your network. Okay. All right. So, I found this quote and it's one of my favorite things and I forgot I even wrote it down, but it says successful people don't want to join you because let me try this again. Successful people don't want to join you when they don't want to do what you're doing. I don't know why I have such a hard time reading that, and I read it like a third grader, but anyway, I don't know if that makes sense. So basically what that means is successful people won't want to join you if they think what you're doing is something they're not interested in doing. So for example, if you're spamming, if you're doing graphics, if you're, doing those sorts of things and they feel like that's embarrassing and they don't want to, then even though they're very successful and they might be great at this, they're not going to want to join because of that. Does that make sense? Because they're going to think, I don't want to do what she's doing. But if it's something that you're doing that is engaging and is fun and they see that you're an influential person, then they will want to join you because I think that's what I could do that. I mean, I could easily do that. So our goal should be to make our job look fun, which it is. It's a great job and it is fun. And to make it look like something other people would want to do. So I want you guys, I'm going to give you a quick piece of homework. And I want you guys to go through your profiles after we get off of here. And I just want you to look through your Facebook. And I want you to ask yourself, what does your brand look like? If you were an outside person and you looked at your Facebook page, what would you see? Would you see someone, and try to be really honest with yourself, would you see someone who's positive, who's fun, who's engaging, who has, a happy and joyful presence? Or would you see someone who's negative, who talks about junk food all the time, who's constantly complaining, who's argumentative, or who's spamming? If you see that, be honest with yourself and say, okay, maybe I could change my approach a little. That's all I have to say on that topic. And I don't think any of you are doing that, but I'm just telling you. A lot of this, too, is things you can share with your team down the road. So know that I'm definitely not accusing anyone here. Okay. And then part 2 of this call is quickly, I want to talk to you guys about how to reach out to people and how to follow up. I know that the scariest thing for most people is cold messaging or just messaging someone out of the blue. And I get it. It's been scary for me too, so I totally understand. But I have to tell you guys that without that, I would have no business. I really wouldn't. So the first few times I did it, I was terrified. Like, if I don't tell you, let me tell you how scared I was. I would message everyone before bed so that I could go to sleep and not worry about what they were going to say back. And then by the time I got the next morning, like, I was way less scared because I guess I'd slept on it or whatever, and I'd gotten a whole distance from it. I was terrified. I was so terrified of it. So please know that you're not alone. But this is what I want you to understand. The worst that can happen is they say no. That really is. That's the worst that's happened to me. I've not had a single person like write me back and cuss me out. And I really think if they did, I would think they were so nuts that I wouldn't even want to be their friend anymore anyway, just because I asked them if they'd heard of Plexus. Like, that would be, let's be honest, that would be totally irrational. So I really think we just have to get over our fear and push past it. And that's when, like, the most amazing things happen, is when we push past our fear, right? So here's some tips, but that's my little pep talk for you guys. If you need help okay, let me say this first. If you're nervous because you're afraid they'll ask you something you don't know the answer to, don't let that hold you back, because all you're going to say is, I'm not sure, but my friend Jenny knows, I bet, because she's been doing this a long time and she loves it. Let me put you in a 3-way message with her. Okay. So if that happens and it comes up and you don't know the answer to something, do not fear. That's the quickest way to do it. And it's the easiest way. And it gives you some third-party validation, and I can jump and help you, or if it's not me and it's your direct upline, that's okay too. But just, don't let that part hold you back. Okay. If you're afraid to do it because you think they're going to block you or something, I haven't had a single person do that, but I know that's a fear for some people. And I really think that the only way that could ever happen is if someone were to say, I don't want to, and I want you to leave me alone, and you just kept pressuring them. Like, I don't know why anyone would do that just for me asking if they've heard of Plexus. So if you have another fear, free to tell me, and I'll see if I can make you feel better. But I think those are the two biggest things for me that made me scared, especially the whole, what if I don't know the answer? That to me was scary at first, because it's like, what if they ask me something I don't know, then I'll feel silly. But I don't think that's a bad thing sometimes either, to not have all the answers. I think it's kind of okay, because when you're showing them that you're humble and you may not know all the answers, but yet you're still doing it anyway, that might make that person be more likely to join your team. And I know that sounds crazy, but it's because they realize they don't have to have all the answers, and they don't have to figure everything out in order for them to be successful either. So I really don't think it's a bad thing for you to just be honest and say, I don't have all the answers. I'm still figuring this out, but let's see if we can get it figured out for you. So, okay, back to what I was doing. All right. So when you're reaching out, these are my biggest tips. Come from a place of confidence. Okay. That doesn't mean I have all the answers. It just means I'm confident in what I'm doing, and I'm confident in this business, and I'm confident in these products. So come from a place of confidence. If you seem iffy, they will pick up on that. So if you go to them and you say, I think it's going to work, or I think you might like it, or whatever, that they really do pick up on that. You'd be surprised how often they do. Whereas if you come from it of like, I know you would be great at this, I know you would love this, that comes across even in a message. So really come from a place of confidence. Try to eliminate words like I think or might, and try to go more down the road of I know or I believe. Those sorts of terms make a really big difference. Another one is don't act needy. So don't seem like you're begging them. Now, we do want to follow up. You have to follow up. Most people do not join or do something until maybe the 8th to 10th exposure to it. That's crazy, but that's proven. So it's okay to follow up, and we're going to talk about that in a second, and how to do it without seeming needy. But don't act needy like you're begging them. So don't ever say, like, this is how you can seem needy. Please join my team. I really want you to join my team. Please be my customer. You would love this. Please be my customer. Make it about them. So instead of saying be my or join my, make it about them. You would be so great at this. You would be so blessed by this. You would really love our product. So make it all about them, and that will make you seem a lot less needy. Do be humble, of course, and be honest. So I have had people who have written me and said, what do you think about Boost or Accelerator? Well, I'm still nursing, so I haven't tried those products. So I don't say, when people ask me questions like that, I never say, oh, you're going to lose so much weight, it's the best part ever. I always say, I don't know, I haven't tried it. I'm just honest, because I don't think that, I'm not sure if everyone on this call is a believer, but I don't think that God will bless our businesses if we are not honest. So I am 100% honest with people. And, if they want more information, I can always tell them, my friend so-and-so used it. But if it's something I haven't used personally, I tell them I haven't used it. I'm not exactly sure, about that, but, you should try it out. Let me know what you think, or whatever. And then another thing too is it's great to offer incentives. Again, don't sound like you're begging. So one of the things I usually will say to people is, hey, for this weekend, I'm offering a special for the next person. Not like, if you do this, then I'll give you this. Because then it just seems like it's a blanket thing I'm offering, and not necessarily that it's just something I'm doing for them because I really want them to join. Because again, that kind of can come across needy, sort of. So, I'm sorry, did somebody say something? Might be my thing making noise. Okay. So one of my biggest summary of that is just to have posture and come across as strong, but also to be humble and just, to be honest. Okay. So first things first, when you're reaching out to somebody, you're going to be a good listener, ask a lot of questions, listen some more, and ask some more questions. That's the 4 things you're going to do when you reach out to somebody. So listen, ask questions, listen, ask questions. And listen and ask some more questions. Really, if we puke Plexus all over them, that's what my lovely upline Tiffany calls it, and it makes me giggle. But if we puke Plexus all over them, they will run out the door quicker than you can stop them. I mean, that is the one thing I think that runs off more people than anything. We are so excited because we know what we have, but they don't know what we have yet. So they are not that excited. So you are like, oh my gosh, the triplex is amazing. It's amazing. Changing my life, and you need this so much. And it's, Plexus will balance your blood sugar and help with your gut health and change your inflammation. And if you go onto this whole spill on them, it makes them run off. So we have to be sure that we just ask a lot. If you look through a thread and you're talking double the amount that they are, you need to flip it around. You need to start asking a lot more questions, get them talking more, asking more questions. You want to say hello quickly, and then you got to go back over there. Your hair.
I wanted you to take it
out. Okay. My crazy haired picture all over here. So that's one way you can kind of check yourself on that. Be sure you're asking a lot of questions. So this is, okay, you go back over there. No, you're distracting. Go. So this is what she's crazy. This is this is pretty much what I ask every single person initially when I get them in a conversation. Well, okay, let me just do a quick example. Let's say I cold message someone and I said, hey, I'm not sure if you've seen my post by now, and I have no idea if you'd be interested at all, but I just have to know if you've Plexus and what are your initial thoughts. Okay, let's just say I said that, and the person wrote back and said, yes, I've seen you posting, I kind of wondered what it was. And then I would write back and say one of 2 things. One is, oh cool, I'm so glad that you've seen it, what caught your interest, because that's going to give me information about what it was that caught their interest. Or I'm going to say, if they don't say yes, I've seen your post, if they say no, I haven't seen your post, what is it, then I'm going to write back and say a brief snippet, very brief, like, Plexus is a health and wellness company and has completely changed my life. Literally, that's it. Nothing more than that. And then I'm going to say, do you have any health concerns or discomforts that you would like to see it help? Okay, and that's going to open up the conversation and give them a chance to tell me about themselves. Let's say they write me back and they say, I have diabetes and migraines and I suffer from depression. I'm not immediately going to jump in and tell them they need the triplex. This was something I made a big mistake on a lot of times early on, so I'm speaking to myself too. Okay, this is where that number 3 and number 4 come in. Ask more questions and listen more. Okay, so we're going to ask more questions. We're not going to immediately, and we're going to show empathy. So this would be what I would say to that. I'm so sorry that you suffer from depression. I have so many people in my life that have suffered from that too, and I know how awful it can be. And then I'm going to say, have you tried other things? Or something to get them talking again. Does that make sense? Like, we want to get as much information from them as we can. 2 things are going to happen with this. One, it's going to show that you actually care and you're not just trying to make a sale. I know every one of you cares, but they need to be sure to know that you're not just trying to make a sale. And the other thing it's going to do is they're going to sell themselves on that product before you ever tell them what they need. So if you've asked them what they could see helped, if they've tried other things in the past, if you're asking them questions like that, and basically they're telling you, I've tried all this stuff and none of it worked. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that makes sense what I'm getting at. But anyway, doing that will kind of sell them on it before you ever tell them what it is that you would recommend. Okay? And then when you make a recommendation, it matters less what's in it, what it does chemically, and all that overwhelming information, and more what you've seen it do for you. And I promise you guys that's the case. So instead of taking the approach of, Plexus Triplex is a 3-product system that controls blood sugar, inflammation, and gut health. Instead of taking that approach, take the approach of, well, I take the Triplex. I know it would help you because I have several friends with depression that has helped. And it has helped me with this, this, and this. And that's it. Now, if they ask you what's in it, of course you're going to answer what's in it. But then you're going to end with another question and get them talking again back to you. So it's really like keeping a tennis match going and a conversation back and forth. All right, now how to follow up without seeming needy. Well, of course, we always hope that that first conversation, the person's like, okay, great, where do I order? But that's just not realistic, and that does not happen most of the time. So here's how you can follow up without being needy. One is try to always set the next point of contact. So before the conversation ever ends, if they say, okay, please send me your link so that I can check out the information. Let's say they say that. And we don't ever send our link until they either ask for it or they say, I want to buy, how do I? Really, like, don't send it before then, because one, you might lose them, and you want to make sure you make the product recommendation. They don't randomly pick something. And you also want to make sure that they see the value and the importance and why they need it before they see the price. Okay, so that's really important, and why we want to ask a lot of questions of them before they ever get our link. But once they say, can you send me your link and let me check it out? Then I'm going to write back, and I'm going to be sure I set the next point of contact. Don't just send the link and say, great, let me know. Let me know does not go anywhere. Instead, you're going to say, yes, I'll send you my link. Check it out, and I'll check back with you tomorrow to see what you thought. You're going to set the next point of contact, because then when you go back the next day and you say, hey, I'm just checking back like I said I would, you're just doing what you said you would. You're being a good friend, and you're doing what you said you would, and you're being a professional. Does that make sense? It's a lot different than then you have to come back the next day and you're like, okay, how do I restart this conversation? You know what I mean? Like, trying to figure out how to do it without seeming like you're begging them. You're just doing what you said you would. So never let a conversation end without setting that next point of contact. That makes a world of difference, guys. It really does. But let's say you forget to set the next point of contact, or somehow the conversation drops off and you just don't get the chance to, because sometimes people just stop responding randomly and you don't have the chance to set the next one. This is a couple ways that you can kind of get the conversation going again. One is take the blame on yourself. And I think this is a really good one, because it kind of disarms them in a way. And especially if they kind of really, they were the one to drop off the face of the earth, then they kind of feel bad for you, I think. But this is what you could say. Hey, I've been so busy. I dropped the ball. Please forgive me. I'm a terrible friend. Did you need any more information from me to get started with Plexus, or whatever? Or did you get a chance to check out my link? Or did you see that testimony I sent you? Whatever it was that, you ended the conversation with. When you kind of take it onto yourself, that kind of diffuses the situation a little bit. Another thing you can do is if you've written them twice, following up, and you have not gotten any response from them, I would say something like this. Hey, judging by your lack of response, it's either a really bad time or you're just not interested. That's okay. I just want to let you know this will be my last time contacting you. In fact, I'm going to cross you off my list. You know where to find me. Okay. Now, this is something I got from this guy online called My Virtual Upline, and he's amazing. And I really like that message, because something about telling someone I'm going to cross you off my list makes them like, okay, hold up, you're going to cross me off your list. Like, I didn't say I didn't want to do it. Like, it's like reverse psychology or something. I don't know. And they always respond, like they always come back around. So I really like that one a lot. And so I've been using that one more and more. Okay, and then another one, here's a third thing that happens sometimes, is they interact with you, they're super interested, they want it, and then they drop off the face of the earth, they disappear. Or sometimes they go back and forth with you and they just can't decide. It's like they're just super indecisive. This is another one to say, hey, listen, if you don't know by now that this is for you, I'm going to tell you that it probably isn't. Now, I know that sounds crazy, but again, the reverse psychology really makes such a big difference with people when you say this. And then this is where your posture comes in and your confidence. I have tons of other people who are really interested. So thank you for your time. If you decide that you do want to do this, you know where to find me. Okay. So these aren't things I would use just after a couple, like if you message somebody and they seem really interested and they don't respond once, don't go send them a message saying this isn't for you. Obviously, that's not what I'm suggesting, because sometimes you have to just follow up with people a lot. That really is the case. But this is for somebody who seemed really interested and then suddenly dropped off, and you've written them and they won't respond. Or for somebody who, sometimes you can just tell there's just some people that they're probably just need a little push to get off the fence. This is for somebody like that. Okay. All right. I know you guys are ready to go to bed, and I'm ready to get my kids in the bed. I can't believe they're still awake. But a few things that I just want to end this call with. First of all, thank y'all so much for getting on and for joining our team and for wanting to do this business. And I'm so excited to see every one of you guys be super successful. And I know that you can. If I can do this, somebody who's a borderline introvert and never thought I would ever be in sales, literally to the point that my actual out of the home job is a dental hygienist, and I worked in an office where they want us to sell the toothbrushes, and I couldn't even do that. Like, I swear to y'all, I am just not a salesperson at all. So if I can do this, I know every single one of you guys can too. So I just want you to know, let me breathe a little belief in you and tell you that through my not even a year in Plexus, I've met so many people from different backgrounds, from single moms to moms of 7 children to men. I mean, all over the spectrum that have been very successful with this, and I know that Plexus is the right place to be. So you guys are going to be successful in this. If you're committed, you will. I want you to remember that no one person, no one prospect or customer or team member or potential can make or break your business. You are the only one that can make or break your business. That's it. So please understand that if someone tells you no and you really wanted them, it's disappointing. It always is disappointing. But remember two things. One, most of the time they come back. I have had several people tell me no that have come back and purchased from me months later. So if you continue to be consistent, that doesn't mean that no will last forever. The other thing to remember is that doesn't mean it's over for you. Just because you get some no's doesn't mean it's over for you. We have a world of tons of people that we can talk to about Plexus. Just because you get some no's doesn't mean it's over for you. No one person is going to make or break it for you. You're the only person that can do that. You don't need anyone. You just don't. You know what I mean? Like, you guys can do this business whether your friend thinks it's stupid or not. So if she doesn't want to do it with you, then that's okay. You can find someone else until she comes back around, because she's going to see your success and she's going to want to get in. My friend Tiffany, and I keep going back to that, but she's my direct upline. She constantly says hilarious things, but one of the things she said to me at first, because I had someone tell me no and I cried, y'all, and I was like, I just don't think this is for me. They sent me this blog and it hurt my feelings, and it was awful. But anyway, she wrote me back and she said, you need to understand that there's going to be people that tell you no, but when you get your Lexus, they don't get to have a ride. And I laughed so hard at that. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to tell myself that. So in the back of my mind, when somebody's mean, I'm just like, well, you don't get to ride in the Lexus. Thanks for you, but whatever. Okay. Last but not least, like I said, you don't need anyone. And if you feel like you need one person, if you thought there's this one person that's going to make or break your business, you're just not talking to enough people. So that's you guys' homework. Get out there and start talking to people, make new friends, make contacts, be engaging. And I'm telling myself this too, like, I got to start talking to some strangers and like really get outside my comfort zone. So, okay, I think I just talked y'all's ear off and you're probably ready for bed. Anybody have any questions or anything to say or add or anything at all? No? Are you all incredibly overwhelmed? No? Yeah?
No.
I'm so excited to be doing this together. Okay, so for next week, let me look and see what the chapters are. 2 and 3, that's what I wrote down. Yes, chapters 2 and 3. So the first chapter, I think, is just kind of the introduction. I mean, of course you can read that. I'm not telling you to skip it or anything, but definitely have chapters 2 and 3 because that's what we're going to actually discuss is chapters 2 and 3 of the book. Kind of the question that I want you to have in your mind this week and what we're going to kind of lead into next week is, how committed are you to this? So are you committed to the point where you want to be making a 6-figure income and quit your job? Are you committed like you want to be able to pay your car payment? Are you committed like you're going to see how it goes, and if it doesn't work out quickly, you're going to quit? So that's, each one of you may have a different answer to that, and that's totally fine, but just kind of ask yourself, how committed am I to this opportunity? Okay?
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
I'll see y'all later.